So I just dropped that Faloyai bag and the Achievers Report, the United States Sovereign Wealth Grant. I dropped portion of the Sovereign Wealth Grant at Universal Tire Center in Grifton, North Carolina. I dropped off the Homage Network biography, which holds the folders for the First Family and First Citizens Bank that is currently in Grifton, a Grifton library in the town of Grifton. I just dropped off the remainder portion of the United States Sovereign Grant over to the Small Business Center. And, I'm not using my credibility for anything really, but, I didn't think that they were going to vote in time just because I'm just getting all the stuff out and I didn't have another year. I had to start paying bills on my stuff and nobody had to pay me compensation because I treated it like volunteering clinical hours through my contract. I didn't read the contract because I didn't know what it all entailed when I opened up Young and Dumb Entertainment. So with the United States Sovereign Wealth Grant, I decided to bring it to the Small Business Center and Continuing Education and Community Development Center. So anybody that has questions on it, they can go in there and look at it. It's all public knowledge, public information, public invoices for the state, federal government, national government. They can make copies, duplicates, and anybody that wants to discuss anything, I'm not a teacher or faculty or personnel at the Small Business Center, not yet. But if they want to discuss something, about the money, finances and stuff, the Small Business Center and the Continuing Education and Community Development Program, where they talk about small business courses, training, licensing, teaching their students how to get paid. It would be an excellent place for them to have those conversations, including the church family. The church family made money off my portfolio too. I've been a part of church since I was a baby because of my mom and their membership in the church. But, I felt like they should be rewarded for those years that they actually put in the time and put in the work. So, even for those that are in the church, I feel like this is an appropriate place to talk about church business and how to manage a church efficiently, how to manage the finances of a church, how to manage a kingdom, how to manage this, that, and the other. The Small Business Center was much better than a high school or community college. And over at Pitt Community College, I dropped off one of my books and it's got Buckingham Palace, Windsor Palace, and I completely redesigned Buckingham Palace and Windsor Palace to actually be able to hold itself steady, maintain itself, and it's on one spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet's probably worth billions of dollars. Honestly, the spreadsheet's worth billions of dollars, but I left that inside the pharmacy tech book that I dropped off yesterday. But I felt like, let's get this all out of my mom's house. That way she doesn't feel pressed and my dad doesn't feel pressed, and I can get a job and people can see what I own versus what I don't own, what I make control over versus what I don't have control over, what the membership has control over versus what they would have to pay me. Let's say they never actually try to pay me or never try to do anything with the report, and I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. I still have to make a living and I still have to get paid. I still have to find a way to make a living and pay my bills, pay my rent, pay my mortgage, pay my utilities, electricity, car bill, car notes and stuff that most millennials don't want to do. So I have to do all this stuff. So I dropped everything off at the Small Business Center, where everybody that claims their royalty or a part of it or membership or understands, they can come and they can look at the files themselves over at the Small Business Center here in Greenville, North Carolina, United States of America. That includes the Secretary of State, who is Miss Secretary Elaine Marshall. That includes the Register of Deeds, who is Lisa Nichols, and here in Pitt County. That includes Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina. They can all come and inspect, make duplicates, copies, anybody from the business center, anybody from Pitt Community College administration boards and stuff, so they can actually approve of a position if I choose to work there or they choose to hire me. They'll know that I started off with $0 because nobody actually was able to cut the check as soon as I was ready to go. They couldn't cut the check because the check was that large, so I have to have a job, got to get a job with a salary, got to move out of my parents' house. I use my parents' house like a startup garage for the United States Sovereign Wealth Grant. Every time I would go somewhere or, my junk is cluttered somewhere, I was treating it just like I was in a startup garage, and I had, virtually I had file boxes storage boxes, computer systems, and I was running everywhere, going everywhere, looking at the files, making calls, making updates and stuff. And so I treated my parents' house, not the whole thing, but more like a startup garage, you know. And my parents, they get paid out of the United States Sovereign Grant. If it pays out, they get paid. My family gets paid. Other families get paid. The advisors of the organizations that won the awards and championships and achievements, including my first place state championship and parliamentary procedure alongside my team members, first place creative problem solving with Health Occupation Students of America, first place virtual business with Future Business Leaders of America, Phi Beta Lambda, Health Sciences Academy, volunteer awards and stuff like that, achievements and all that is listed in there, the homagenetwork.weebly.com. And I wanted everybody to see what I was doing. And even the church, I never planned on being a church leadership on the church leadership board or a part of the church, but they get paid off of my portfolio. So I wasn't staying at the home like, oh, I just barged in and I was there for no reason. And now all AJ's stuff out is he shouldn't have been here anyway, because they get paid off that report as well. So if the state controls all of that report, and the state and the national government, federal government control plenty of that, and as well as the organization, shout out Reston, Virginia, shout out Great Falls, Virginia, shout out San Antonio, Texas. And I also dropped the Scouts, all the Road to Eagle and the Scouts tours. I also dropped that off at Universal Tire Center. If Universal Tire Center is, you know, because that's part of my history. And them scouts that I was saying, you know, the scouts can do this, that, and other. I didn't go back in the day. I looked at right now. And could the scouts get hired here at the Small Business Center? Yes. Can the scouts get training and courses here at the Small Business Center? Yes. Can the scoutmasters come in here and get training and courses as workers of this, that, and other? Yes. The scoutmasters are welcome to visit the Small Business Center. It's made for adults, and all the adults in the portfolio that disagree or agree with this, that, and other, this is a perfect place to bring it to Small Business Center, because they also, in a collaboration with Pitt Community College, have an adult care center. And the adults of the church and the elders of the church, they should also be allowed inside the Greenville Small Business Center in case they want to make copies or duplicates of anything. So I want to drop that off, and I wanted to do it while I was here at the Small Business Center, so y'all can actually see that this is a real video. This is AJ Kent, Andre Kent Jr., Chief Dr. Andre Kent Jr., you know, for those of y'all that actually stay up to my credibility and credentials and stuff. And I didn't need anybody by me. So I just also wanted to make a point that from here on out, you're on my money. And just because my teams haven't found a way to pay me out yet on my money, where I get a sales from profit commissions and stuff, it doesn't mean you're not, you know, you can just use me and make requests of me and book me whenever you want to, because then you have to speak with my management team. Not only my management team, you also have to pay my booking fee, which is at least $3 billion an hour. I'm at least $3 billion an hour without the United States Sovereign Wealth Grant. But I just wanted to do this as and put this on my social media pages so I can use this as a timestamp. Every time I do a video, I've used it as a timestamp and a location.